Hi, it's Heather, and with R-rated, I don't know, fucking everything. I've decided to change gears for a minute, because I'm on a job. I'm actually next door from one of my really good clients, the one I did the video on for the bathroom I built in the basement. She's awesome. Love her. She has a neighbor. She's been itching to get me over here since last year, and I didn't have time. But apparently, whatever my client next door does, this one has to copy. I finally met with her. She wants me to redo her garden. Let me show you this shit show, first of all. Most of these are weeds. We got hostas. That's a hosta. That's a hosta. That's a deer-eating hosta. There's a hosta. 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 Massive, massive hosta. That has to be split. That's just ridiculous. More hostas. Those are lilies. If you see this stuff, this is yarrow. Really pretty. The rest of it is weeds. I think there's some spearmint back there. That's Solomon seal. Bishop's weed. I think there's bee balm in here. The reason I show that to you is because she wants me to redo the whole thing. In all honesty, this is one of those, I kind of gave this an FU bid, but apparently not. I'm putting a dig edge in. That means I have to dig out the whole edge, 45-degree angle this way, all the way down. I started weeding. Look, there's a hosta in here. This is what I've weeded in 1 hour. And I say that because I want you to know, this is a 2-day job. And I bid $1,300. That's a little more than I would normally. But you know what? Fuck it. It's a lot of work. So when I tell you the other one was 5 days, and 2,000 was too much, look at this. This is a dandelion. I'm going to show you guys some stuff, if you're interested. Dandelions were designed to snap and split when you pull on them. So if you don't get the whole root, that's what happens when they get this big. You got to get the whole motherfucking root. And if you don't, you have to go back and get the rest of it. You need the whole thing. You got to pop them out with a shovel, use a dandelion tool, and get the whole thing out. Because once it breaks, it's just going to get bigger. Look at this motherfucker. There's lily of the valley. If you want to plant lily of the valley in your garden, have at it. Just don't expect to plant anything else with it. It's almost as bad as Pachysandra. Now they have their place in the garden, and they serve a purpose. They're great ground covers. If you, like my house, if you want to put it on a hill that you don't want to have to mow, absolutely. But I've gotten paid to yank that shit out so many times that even though I need a ground cover on my hill, I will not put Pachysandra, lily of the valley, or fucking myrtle. Those three are like the trifecta of bullshit ground covers that are invasive and just take the fuck over. So I'm going to show a few of them to you. One of the worst culprits I've ever seen. Some people love it. Oh, but it hasn't taken over yet. That's because it works with rhizomes. Solomon seal. This is Solomon seal. Don't put that in your garden. You might like it, but look where it goes. It goes everywhere. Everywhere. And the worst part about it is Solomon seal. They have rhizomes. So their roots look like fucking ginger. They're like irises, but irises aren't invasive. Irises are nice flowers. And they're pretty. Solomon seal doesn't do a fucking thing. Let me show you one of their roots. One piece. And its root is like ginger. And it's snapped off from something else. That's some gnarly shit. The size of this shit. Another thing I find people doing all the time drives me fucking crazy. Because they do it for years. Then they expect me to just come and take it out easy peasy. If it was so easy peasy, you wouldn't have fucking done what you did for 5 years. Weed trees. Stop cutting them. You're cutting them. You're just encouraging them to fucking grow. Look at this little weed. See this little weed? I wanted to go down to the bottom and find the stem so I could dig it out. And this is what I saw. So did I get it out? Yeah, I fucking got it out. And this. Stop cutting weed trees. Stick a shovel in. Or make the people that you hire dig them out by the root. The reason why I charge what I charge is because the soil gets turned. This spot right here that has a hump, I didn't turn that yet. But the rest of it has been turned, dug up, roots removed, fresh soil. This is hard. I haven't gotten here yet. See, there's weeds in here. I'm going to pop that section. See, this broke. It's another dandelion. Here's the other piece of it. So, this, I grab all the roots, get the dirt out, shake it up, turn the soil, and then take the roots out and throw those, keep the dirt. There might be some pieces left on the surface when I'm done. I will go over this whole thing with a garden rake when I'm done to get the rest of it out if there's anything that I've missed. Then I weed block it with the kind of shit that you have to cut with a fucking torch. 30-year highway masonry weed block. If you don't use a torch to cut it, it frays like cassette tape. You need a utility knife to get through it if you're gonna plant something. I just burn holes in the middle of it now. That's called Elijah Blue. It's a small ornamental grass. That is an Asiatic lily. It's gonna pop some beautiful flowers soon. This is the bishop's weed. Get that shit out. I charge just like $6.50 a day. I usually charge a $500 design fee, non-refundable, because if I'm going to put the time in to come and give you suggestions on layout, design, what kind of plants are going to grow in shade or sun, deer resistant, rabbit resistant, blooming from early February, March through October, November, and looks pretty in the winter, and you want something blooming all the time, I spend hours all night long researching everything that's perfect for your garden that doesn't look like your neighbor's garden. I'm tired of giving people those ideas. I used to walk up and be like, oh yeah, you could and the following week you don't hear from them, and then you drive by and they did it themselves. Fuck that. It's $500 in my suggestions and my knowledge. I didn't charge her that because she has enough stuff in here and she only wanted a few suggestions. She said, do whatever you want. Good. I'll talk to you about it. I'm just gonna put some shit in. She get nice shit. I always put nice stuff in. I'm like, well, what would you like to see in here? She's like, oh, what does Mary have? I'm like, are you kidding me? What does Mary have? I'm like, hey, Mary, guess what? She does copy you. 3 things. Highly recommends you don't ever plant in a garden, that you plant in pots. Strawberries, spearmint, and chives. Spearmint will take the fuck over. And there's only so many mojitos you can drink. You can kind of get it out if you dig it out. But chives, I reference chives and I tell my clients that chives, I call chives garden herpes, because it's just the gift that keeps on giving. You can't get rid of them. They will not ever go away. You will not ever get rid of chives. Chives never end. They don't go away. And they spread. Whatever. Strawberries are the same way. Put that shit in pots. I also learned to keep the Gerber daisies in pots so the slugs don't get them. Lily of the Valley can be attractive. Even Pachysandra can be attractive. So can myrtle. Myrtle is like Vinca major or Vinca minor. Little periwinkle flowers. Don't plant that shit in a garden next to something that you want to bloom, because it's going to take over. Weeds and ground covers like that, invasive plants, they suck the nutrients out of the soil. They choke the root system of the existing plants. Most of the time, what I have to do with this one, I have to carefully dig her existing plants out and pick the weed roots out of the plant roots and replant them. Because if I don't, all this weeding is for nothing. There won't be weeds in the garden with the weed block, but the plants will still get choked out because the existing root system will be within the plant's roots and will continue to grow and choke the plant out. So weeds just deplete the soil of the nutrients, and they grow faster than plants, because they're like, hey, we don't give a fuck what we look like. We're ugly, and we're just going to show up for the party. We're going to get there early. We're going to stay late. We're not leaving. You can't get rid of us. And the plants are like, I have to get ready first. Hold on. I need to get fancy. You want me to look good? It's going to take a little while. So there's a battle of the root systems going on. The ugly shit is here to stay. And the pretty stuff, it needs a little while to get ready. See, there's Lily of the Valley in here. You don't want this in here. And the only way to get the Lily of the Valley out is to clean out the roots. Lily of the Valley has white roots. I'm splitting this again, right in between the stalks. And then, so I have to be able to access the Lily of the Valley. It's embedded in there, and you're not getting it out until you can really get in there. That's a piece of it. You know what? Hosta's so hardy that this little broken leaf, stick this in dirt, it'll grow a new plant. And then this is going to become 2 plants right here. I'll put this right down the middle. See, there's no plant right here. And then I'll be able to get Lily Valley out. Sometimes I use a hose. I didn't bring much with me today because I don't really want to be here. It's in this one. There it is. See, they come right out. They don't belong in there. This stuff. This is not from the hosta. This is Lily Valley. Oh, look, there it is. See? Look at that. See? It will infiltrate your plant's root system and you will not get it out. Sometimes you have to dig the plants out and get the roots of the weeds or the plants that you don't want in there out of that plant's root system. Otherwise, you can weed all you want. You can weed block all you want. And the weeds are just going to keep growing right through your plant because they're already there. They have a nice, comfortable home, and they plant themselves there on purpose. Good morning. It's the next day, and I'm already late for work. It's fucking Sunday. Before I get to that woman's job, I want to show you some plants. I have some really cool plants in my garden. Sometimes we're limited where we are because it gets so cold. I mean, I want some of the most beautiful flowers, and it's like we can't get them because up here, they'd be considered annuals. They would never make it through the winter. But that's okay, because God gave us peonies. So those are peonies. So beautiful, and they smell incredibly. It's just amazing. Everybody here has magenta. Some people have the pale pink. You come across a rare white. So that's like the magenta peony that everybody has. I have over here, it's yellow. That one's going to bloom shortly. I have a couple of award-winning peonies that haven't bloomed yet. One is called Hawaiian Coral Sunset. It's, oh gosh, it's like a 2-tone coral. This one is budding. This is going to have flowers soon also. None of this was here except boxwood. I haven't pruned that one yet. Boxwood. This is a hollyhock. This is going to bloom with gorgeous flowers all up and down. This is astilbe. If you get a white astilbe called Deutschland, it smells like fucking Pez. I had one in my car last year with the roof off, and my car still smelled like candy all day. I fell in love with those. So I have those Deutschland planted everywhere. Oh my gosh. I can't even tell you what this is. Well, I can. I'll put pictures up to show you what this is going to do. It took me 2.5 years to find that tree and locate anyone who had them for sale. I found a place in Oregon. And you know, my cheap, frugal ass doesn't pay shipping. I bought 10 of them. It cost me $200 for 10 trees. And it didn't matter what you ordered. You're paying for shipping. It was $80. And then they called me to tell me that they weren't going to ship them because that particular summer it was so hot. They weren't going to transport them the way they normally do. And I had to pay for them to be flown. But it's only another $30. So I know it's only $30 on top of the $80 that I already paid. So, but I paid it. It was $110 in shipping for the 10 trees, and they come this big. And I grew them in pots 1 year, and I put them in the ground at TJ's. I was going to line the driveway with them, and you'll see why when I attach a photo. That's a golden chain tree. Not to be confused with a golden rain tree. And not to really not be confused with golden shower. Neither of them are the same. Golden chain tree is, I'm just going to put pictures up. I'm like, TJ, he's like, he knew I was taking them. By the time I moved down, he was like, oh, why don't I just buy you more of them as a housewarming gift? I'm like, I'm not starting over again. No. I got 3 of them. He kept 7. Then, this right here is a rhododendron. But so is this. This one just has to be deadheaded. This is the rhododendron everybody has. Everyone's got the same rhododendron, the same way they have almost the same azalea. But the one I found is called Capistrano. And it's lemon yellow. When I put someone's garden in, I want it to be unique. There's a landscape design company here, a really big landscape design company. I think they charge $1,500 just for a consultation. And they'll give you like $10,000 or $15,000 garden proposal. And it could be a 6-foot garden. And it'd be like almost 10 grand. After you pay the $1,500, they'll give you like that much in credit towards their plants. And everybody gets a rubber stamp. You get a rock, you get a boxwood, you get an azalea. Like, their gardens, there's nothing unique about them. They're just very hoity-toity. My shit's unique. I don't know how these people don't drive past their house when they get home, because it looks just like the neighbor's house. I spend time looking for the most unique shit that will survive with our winters. In fact, this one, right there, that is called a spring torch heather. I did this cute little gimmicky thing for a couple of years when I first started doing like the landscape designing. Anyone who paid the $500 and got a landscape design and I fulfilled it, or they did like big summer work, I would gift them a heather plant. And it was like my calling card, because there was some nutcase online who kept talking about how I need someone to come put a patio in for the garden Andy Heather just did. I was like, first of all, no you don't, because if I put your garden in, I would have put a patio in. There were people that were fighting to, it sounds so obnoxious, there were people that were fighting to get me to do work at their house. Once my name got out there and all these recommendations hit the website, more like a keeping up with the Joneses thing. I mean, there were people that had me come over, they're like, I just don't know what to do. And I'm like, you have a garden, like, what do you need me for? So that was like my calling card, because no one knows what that plant is. Half the people don't even know that heather is a flower. So I was like, if you don't have my calling card, I didn't do your garden. It was like me signing my work. That's a spring torch heather. That plant was $60. So only like 4 people got those because I couldn't afford them. But I got a bunch of pink and purple heathers from the nursery the year before, and none of them made it. And the fucking nursery supply wouldn't warranty them for me because he discounted them. It's like, fuck you. I'm going to show you. I mentioned yarrow yesterday in the video, and I grow a bunch of that myself. This is yarrow. This is what the leaves look like. The flowers kind of bloom like this, but I have a few that are already blooming. Those are cuttings. I grow a shit ton of my own plants. When I'm pruning at someone's house, if something comes out with a root, mine. I take it home and I root it. I think this one's pink grapefruit yarrow. So they're really pretty. This one is called paprika. I think, is that one paprika? This one, those are both the same. And then these are ground covers. I didn't finish mulching here. These are Asiatic lilies. This one's going to be sedum. They bloom in the fall. Here's a big yarrow. That one might be yellow. These are irises. Some of my irises are already blooming. This is potentilla. This is a little tiny hydrangea. This is lupin. I have those in 3 different colors. I pulled the seeds off after they bloomed, and I'm going to grow those myself next year. Everything's perennials. Some of the lilies I have grow in like 10 to 15 different colors. This is a quince. So that was a cutting that fell off someone's tree when I was planting it. I'm like, yep, that's mine. I grew it in a pot. It survived. That's another hydrangea. I want to show you these, because these came from cuttings. See this? I'm going to show that to you. Here's another one that's just starting. Those are called yellow twig dogwood shrubs. And most people know dogwoods as trees. They come in pink and white. They're pretty friggin' hardy. The dogwood shrub Comes in like 3 different varieties. Yellow twig dogwood, red twig dogwood, and ivory halo dogwood. I don't like the ivory halo, but the yellow and the red, if you look, this one's not doing so well. It's like almost a dead stalk, but it's growing here. I don't want to sneeze. Oh, it hurts my ribs. Oh, excuse me. The stems on a red and a yellow twig dogwood stay red and yellow. So it's 4 seasons of interest. In the spring, they bloom flowers, which they're doing now. And then little berries are on the inside. So later on in the fall, the berries stay there and the leaves fall off. The birds eat the berries in the winter. And the twigs stay red and yellow. So when you plant a bunch of them together, alternating, it makes a beautiful backdrop against the white snow. So that's one good way to come up with 4 different seasons of interest. The sedum that I was telling you about doesn't bloom till like September. Black-eyed Susans don't bloom until like July and August. Daisies will bloom all throughout the summer. I have some roses in the back called ketchup and mustard. The petals are two-tone. They're yellow at the bottom, and they're red at the top of each petal. If you think I'm close with Polly, Taylor, no way to describe how close I was to Polly. I've barely been able to say her name since she passed away last summer. She was the chicken that I actually got oxygen tent. We were trying to treat her respiratory infection, and she didn't make it. She was my blind silver lace Brahma. Right after she passed, her name was Pollyanna. Polly, pretty Polly. I found roses called Pretty Polly. These are Pretty Polly roses. I took them out of the ground at TJ's. I just didn't plant them yet. This is one of the other golden chain trees. They've gotten pretty big for, the fact that a year ago they were like 6 inches tall. I just wanted to give you a few ideas. When you're planting, go online. Look stuff up. I'm always looking stuff up. I don't know why people don't cut them. Oh my gosh, the fragrance is insane. Oh look, I made my own ketchup and roses. Ketchup and mustard yarrow. This looks like an ivory halo dogwood, but this is actually a weigela. The leaves on the ivory halo dogwood look similar, but these are the flowers for a weigela. This was from a cutting that fell off somebody's shrub when I was pruning. There's a spirea. These bloom all summer. It's a shrub. They can get pretty big. You gotta cut them back a little bit. Very, very hardy. They come in different colors. They're beautiful. This is forsythia. This blooms in early February. Big yellow, little yellow flowers and like long cones. And then this is a hosta that's really unique. I love this one. It's called silly string. Hostas get really unique now. They've come up with a whole new list of varieties where it doesn't just have to be the green and white hostas. And this is called, these are going to be beautiful red, like long cone shaped red flowers. I think it's called Lucifer. So it'll take me like 2 years sometimes. Root it, pot it, and nurse it back to health and grow a new plant from it. Because I'm not going to kill anything. At least not the plants. So, it might sound obnoxious when I say, yeah, I'm going to charge $500 to give you ideas. I don't just do that. I make my own concrete benches. They're rebar enforced. They're mesh reinforced. I sign the bottom of them. I don't even charge for those. That's a gift. I've made 2 different concrete benches for clients as a gift. I'll do lighting, pathways, seating areas, bistro sets, bird houses. Like, if you let me have at it, you will get a full garden, not just plants. You get an oasis, or a grove, or an English cottage garden. You get a sanctuary. I've made people birdhouses. I made this one. That has a peacock on it, of course, for me. So when people are like, are you a landscaper? I'm like, no, I'm actually not a landscaper. I just love to do gardening. I will prune, weed, edge, mulch. And people think that's all I do. They're like, you're such a great landscaper. I'm like, yeah, thanks. You see that bathroom I built? You see the chicken coop I built? You see that fucking house over there I painted? You see that tile floor I put in? You see the bathroom, the shower I tiled? Yeah, I'm not a landscaper, but in the summertime. That's what everybody thinks. And it's fucking grueling. Landscaping is probably the second hardest of all the jobs I do. I think the hardest is carrying drywall and putting drywall in. That's just everything else, carpentry, all that stuff. I love it. Woodworking. I have someone's chest, a cedar chest in the garage I just picked up from their house the other day. I have to restore it. So I get woodworking jobs. But I love gardening. And I love plants. So before I head over to this woman's house, yeah, I'm charging her $1,300 for 2 days worth of work. That's just the labor. She's paying $800 for plants, mulch, weed block. I'm going to show the fuck up on Sunday. I'm going to show up with some really nice plants and some nice trees. And I'll show you when it's done. Good morning. I finished that job yesterday. It took 2 extra days. I did add money to it. Not because of the time, necessarily because of the time, because I always tell everybody I estimate how long the work will take to do. And if I get done early, your bill doesn't change. But if it takes longer, I don't charge more. This I added to the bill. Well, first, because I need to start doing that when the work changes. And that's what happened. The work was different. And I'm so bad about asking for more money. And it's so funny because every time I get work done somewhere, nobody has a fucking problem telling me it's going to be $500 more. I was right. She was listening to everything. And I knew that. I knew that. I tell anyone who ever works with me, just assume you're on camera and just assume you're being watched and listened to and behave accordingly. And I live my whole life like I'm being watched. It keeps me in check. I had to get help. I actually took the girl who's been doing my admin work for me 3 days a week. I asked her if she wanted to give it a whirl to work on site, and she said she would. I'm surprised she came back the second day. We couldn't finish it in 1 day together, and I thought we should have been able to. It was just a lot more work. When I saw the job a month ago, there isn't normally that. I keep looking at the chickens. There isn't normally that big of a change in a month. But in this case, with all the rain we've had, when I went to initially look at this in May, the weeds were in. So I thought I did a decent job of gauging what it was going to be. I went back and looked at the photos because I take pictures of the jobs when I'm meeting with the client so that I can appropriately bid it when I get home. I take my notes, I look at my photos, and I make sure that the bids are thorough, detailed, and accurate. Then I take photos before I start the work when I arrive on the job site. Then a lot of times I take photos throughout because sometimes I just like the progress photos. But then I also take photos when the job is done. And I post them to the website. But I went back to those photos. It was twice the work. Then throw in the fact that there was no way for me to know that her shit was grown on top of the weed block. So I used the fact that I know she was listening to my advantage. So the girl, Alex, was working with me on the site. And we were just chatting. And I was showing her different stuff. I'm like, this is insane. This is crazy. I know the homeowner was listening. Because she came out at one point. People don't realize they give themselves away. And I told Alex, I'm like, you know she was listening. She's like, I figured. I thought I heard someone bustling in the house. I said, she gave herself away. She's like, how? I said, she came out and told me I should be a teacher. And she's like, oh my gosh, only you would pick up on that. I said, how the hell would she know I should be a teacher? So, of course, I'm like, those who can't teach, why? I should be a teacher. Why? Because I can't do this? She was like, no, it's just the way you explain things. How the fuck would she know that unless she was inside listening? Unless she was listening. Alex was like, holy shit, you're right. So, like, just always assume you're being watched and listened to, because we are. We were there till 6 o'clock the first night, and I think it was like 8 or 9 hours we were there. I mean, you have to stop to teach things to people that don't have the experience. It always costs more time. And we were going to stay till like 7 and hopefully finish. And at 6 o'clock, I said, I'm calling it because we're not going to finish by 7. So there's no reason to bust ass and stay here for another hour because we're going to be here tomorrow. She agreed to come back. I'm like, are you going to quit now? Because everybody always quits on D2. We went back. We spent 10 hours on the second day. It's finished. And she came out and said to me at one point, was this a lot more work? I'm like, a little bit, a little bit. She's like, oh, I said, it's okay. We got this. And I'm like, that was my opportunity to say something, but I didn't want to do that in front of Alex. That's not a conversation I'm going to have in front of anybody that's working with me. So the following day, I did say something. I'm like, Ray, I got to add a little something. She's like, no, whatever you need. Because I'm like, she wants me to come back in the fall. I already knew. I said, nope. As soon as she says, she's other gardens for me to do. As soon as she asks me, I'm not interested. I just don't want to do this. I don't want to sit and fucking weed people's gardens all day, every day. I can't do it. That's where my elbow's shot. Just overuse of that joint. Just pulling fucking weeds all day. She's like, whatever you need, please. I'm like, I'm not really comfortable asking for more. I said, but in this instance, I said, I'm sorry. I just didn't expect the weeds to be that bad in 1 month. And the weed block with the plants on it, I said, it's not going to be crazy. She's like, no, whatever you need. I want this to be worth it to you. It has to be really worth it to you. I wanted Alex's pay covered because as long as I got it done, even if I ate a little off the job, I don't mind that because I've always done that. But Alex being there for 2 full days, that was going to hit me hard. I didn't bid the job with 2 people. I added $350 to that job. I think there was a momentary nanosecond of sticker shock, but she didn't say a word. She just agreed to it because she said, I know how much work that was, and it's gorgeous. And I told Alex, I think I figured out why nobody wants to work with me. Knowing that I was going to be able to add a few bucks, and I knew in my head it was going to be $300 or $350. I don't want it to be about the money. I really don't want it to be about the money. It was motivating for me to not want to cut any corners and say, you know what, it was more work, and if I'm not going to add money to it, I'm gonna have to shave something off. I immediately became the more meticulous person that I am, and I think Alex was, you're digging something again. I'm waiting. I was showing her how I do my dig edges, 45-degree angle, clean it, like how I mulch. I mean, I mulch like a nut. There's no such thing as perfect. But when I leave, it will be pristine. They want to walk on that mulch when I leave, that's their choice. We don't walk on it. We mulch back to front, or corner out, side, work your way out. Don't paint yourself into a corner. Don't walk on that fucking mulch when it's done. To show her how, just tuck it in the edge, clean it up. I mean, literally, I said, here's the thing. This is probably why no one wants to work with me. We're here 9.5 hours at this point. We're exhausted. At that point, you put the amount of effort that you put into this type of job, and the mulch is just, a few sprinkles or add a line. Why wouldn't you just take the extra 10 minutes at that point to go over it and make it nearly perfect? Because I know we're tired. We want to go. We want to be done. But that's the time where the devil's in the details. You want to put that kind of effort in for 4 days? Her 2, me 4, and leave the tiniest little thing out of line? To me, that undoes the whole job. Plus, I knew we were being watched, we were being listened to. So I taught her, I'm like, this is how I do it. And this is probably why no one wants to come back, because I'm like, that's not right, that's not right, that's not right, that's not right. Do it right, do it right, do it right. If you're not going to do it right, don't do it at all. Her name doesn't go on it. No one else's name goes on it. Mine does. And when I texted her, I said, your garden's done. The look on her face when she came out was priceless. It was worth it. Shit looks good. Here are the photos of the finished work. It was a lot of work. And I posted this because Maybe I needed my own validation. I'm supposed to do my plumbing today. And she asked me if I was going to come back. She's like, so when do you want to talk about coming back in the fall? Should I wait a little while to ask? Or you don't want to come back? I said, you know what? We'll wait a little while. Let me see what my schedule looks like. I didn't say no, because it was good fucking money. I said, in all honesty, if you asked me yesterday, I had fully intended to say I couldn't do it. But you know what? It's grueling. It really is. And there is nothing wrong with the work. I just don't like to be pigeonholed into one particular thing. And if people don't know that, I'm going to keep getting these jobs that are kicking my ass. I need some easier work for a few days. She's like, so when do you want to talk about coming back? You don't want to come back? I said, you know what? I don't think it'll be an issue. The next garden is smaller. It's a lot more manageable. I'll probably come back and do it. Let me just see what my schedule looks like. I gave myself a little out just in case. She looked relieved. At that point, it was like she didn't care what I was going to charge her, because she didn't want to hear I wasn't going to come back. There is a fucking value in having me there. And you know what the sad thing is? The woman that didn't want to pay the $2,000 to have probably $3,000 worth of work done, she's not ever going to know what she missed out on. And that's on her. So, questions or comments? Feel free to leave them. And I would love for you to hit like and subscribe. And later today, I'm probably going to have some DIY plumbing videos. I'd like to start having some nicer videos. I was watching a couple of the older videos that popped up in my feed. I used to be fun. I used to be in a good mood. I used to laugh and joke. I've been pissy. I've been pissy for I don't know, since April 14th or April 11th, whatever day I closed on this house. I don't want to be that way. Because wherever your focus goes, grows. And I do not want to grow misery. And I have been miserable. So thank you for sticking around and for your patience. I'm going to try to get out of my funk and be a little more upbeat. Have a great day.